Hamitaki api chante washte eyuhan ape chiz api. Le mie Alex Fire Thunder machepi. Wana Minnesota ma coche ektawa. Ash presentation wana wak u. So this is my presentation on chapter 15, the Thieves Road from Kingsley Bray's Crazy Horse book. I'm in Minnesota, but I gotta give the presentation, so I'm gonna record this video, and hopefully Ahmed will be able to stream it on YouTube for you guys to see. The beginning of the chapter is talking about Crazy Horse and his wife Black Shawl, Shina Sapa. They're in mourning, washiglapi, mourning their daughter, their only child, their daughter. They're afraid of her. Kokiprapi, we. So he returns home to a kind of desolate situation, and he kind of remains to himself, sticks to himself, kind of going through a phase, a period of time to reflect and have introspection on life. And they said that if people were looking for him and wanted to get a hold of him, they had to go through his wife. She would go out and find him. I thought that was an interesting protocol, or interesting way to communicate with your leader when he's going through something like that. And you see things like that to this day. Sometimes you have to go through a helper, or through a spokesperson, or through the person's wife in order to talk to them. Especially our spiritual leaders tend to, some of them are kind of chokata naji, but a lot of them, they kind of hide out and don't go into big crowds, and you have to communicate with other people in order to get in touch with them. So that's what that reminded me of, that form of communication, and kind of being humble and not in the crowd, not in the center all the time. During this time, though, he stayed out of most of the political stuff, his political life, until the winter of 1874, and there was some upsets back at the agency over some rations and annuities that they were supposed to get firearms and different things, and they weren't getting what they were promised. So there was talk of riots and uprisings. So it kind of brought him back to the political role. They talked about how he was too young to, or not old enough to give up the warpath and become a medicine man just yet, even though he may have practiced some spiritual powers and abilities, and maybe was capable of being such a thing. But I think back then that I think this is important and relevant to today, is that you didn't become a medicine man until you were kind of older. It took a lot of preparation, and one of my uncles, he always told me that. He said don't trust a Wichashawaka unless he's over 70. I think he was exaggerating a little bit, but just to get his point across. Another thing that was kind of prominent and relevant in the text was his former rival and enemy, kind of Black Twin, Crazy Horse's rival, Black Twin. He was beginning to change his views on the treaties with the Washichu people, and he began to be more in line with Crazy Horse, thinking that the treaties weren't to the benefit of the Lakota people, and that we should be in rejection and be opposed to working with the Washichu people through these treaties. So because as a result of that, they became allies, and that very notion speaks to the leadership and the abilities, the dignity of both Crazy Horse and Black Twin to be able to, maybe they didn't like each other, but their views became in line, and they had to accept each other and work together, and they did. However, now Crazy Horse's biggest enemy, besides the United States, obviously, was practical needs of the people. The main one being hunger. The people were hungry. There was no buffalo, and so the reality of the traditional way of life, depending on the buffalo, was kind of becoming impractical, which that's got to be hard on you as a leader, as an advocate for the spiritual way of life and for the nomadic way of life, with living in harmony with the buffalo and rejecting the rations and the agency reservation lifestyle. I don't know, have to keep your morale up, and try to keep the morale of the people up when they have no food to eat, and to be able to communicate that morale, communicate in a way that keeps positivity in the people. So, but as a result of that, Crazy Horse and Black Twin agreed to visit the agency to get some rations to feed the people. So at the end of the day, you gotta feed your people, and sometimes you gotta suck it up, get some food stamps. Just kidding. However, the media, at that time being the newspaper, predicted that Crazy Horse would then become a regular visitor and collector of rations. I don't think he liked that very much. After that, miners were starting to stake claims in the Black Hills. Crazy Horse was fed up at the thought that agency people were contemplating the sale of the Black Hills. And Oglala leaders were instructing Oglala elders were instructing the leaders to guard and protect the Black Hills because they're the heart of the earth, and that's what the people would need. So that's what they did. That's what they prepared to do. Sitting Bull had his Sundance on Rosebud Creek. He had his famous vision of Battle Little Bighorn, where Wakantanka tells him that that the Lakota people now have the power, and the enemies will be given to them, and they shall wipe them out. And when I read that, it reminded me of a version of a Sundance song. And we sing it today, but we sing the melody with different words. But an old version of the song I heard, and I heard that Sitting Bull sang that song too. I think it's in a book actually, Densmore, Lakota Sioux Music or something like that. Big old thick book. But it says, Echa ozu ye wa u kte se chelo waka sota pe hey hi ya hey hey hi ya hey hey ya hey yo hey yo hey. That says a war party was supposed to have come. They did come, and we wiped them out. I wiped them out. So that was an older version of a song. Now it's a Wambly Galeshka song. So while we're talking about songs, I think that's a one form of communication that leaders would have. Not just leaders, but the people would communicate through songs. There would be stories and messages in the songs, and so that's something that I always think about when I'm thinking about the communication skills of our people. I'm a singer myself, so that it kind of rings true to my everyday life. I'm also a song composer, but in the book there was I don't know how the melody goes. I don't even know what these words would be in Lakota, but Kingsley Bray translates it, and he says that they had a song that said, "The Black Hills is my land, and I love it. Whoever interferes will hear this gun." And I thought that was a really powerful statement to put into a song. And a lot of our songs have stories and deeper meanings than what it simply says in the song. So it's poetic and a good way to communicate, a powerful way to communicate, and that's how we communicate with the spirits. And I think that's what it comes down to in all my papers, and when I think about communication skills from the past and the present in Lakota leadership. And I think it comes down to communicating with the spirits on a spiritual level. And I think our leaders don't really do that today. At least not in the way that they did a long time ago. None of us do. And just to end that, on that note, the book also talks about Crazy Horse going up on a Humblecha, and he saw on his Humblecha, in his visions, he saw the scattering of buffalo herds all over, and he saw the Lakota people living in poverty on reservations. But instead of this bringing him down, he let that inspire him. And he said that he was dedicated and committed to protecting the homelands and his people and his way of life. So keep it on that positive note. We all know how it ended, but you got to keep your morale up and the morale of the people up as a leader. Wana hechagla e prinktalo. Okay, I'll see you guys next week. Thanks for listening.